everybody, Dr. Whiting here. Last week, I guess it was, the news media was flooded with the results of a clinical study on a particular sugar alcohol called erythritol. And that study confirmed conclusively that higher amounts of erythritol are carcinogenic, can cause heart disease, hypertension, and a variety of other things. Well, I've been saying for years that sugar alcohols in general are nasty things. And they're almost as bad in different ways as sugar itself to excess, both of which are poisonous substances. So what do you do instead? Well, today I thought I'd talk about some alternatives to sugar and some alternatives to erythritol that are not sugar alcohols. First of all, let me remind you, if you're looking to see if your product has sugar alcohols, you can recognize them because they end in OL. Sorbitol, xylitol, erythritol, they all end in OL. But the emphasis lately has been on erythritol because of this clinical study and the findings they concluded. So what do you do about, you want something sweet, you want to sweeten your tea, you want to put something sweet in your milk and coffee in the morning, you want a sweet little treat now and then. What can you use? Well, it depends upon your belief system, and it depends entirely upon volume. How much are you using? Because when you use something, here's the deal. Almost everything can have side effects. Water can have side effects. People have died from consuming too much water. It's always about quantity. How much of something are you using? Because the more you use, whatever potential side effects might be connected with that substance increase exponentially. So am I saying that a little sugar alcohol is probably horrible? No, a little. The problem with erythritol is they put it in everything. And sometimes they do, but oftentimes they don't tell you it's there. Here's a dismaying observation. Those of you who like 100% natural sweeteners, it's like something like stevia or monk fruit. Do you know that 90% of the stevia and monk fruit on the market contains erythritol? Because those sweeteners have a natural bitterness to them. And the companies want you to use them and be so happy that you overuse them, so they embellish the sweetness with erythritol. Now, you can get pure stevia, but you have to look for it. You're not going to get it in little packets at your local supermarket. You have to get natural stevia, natural monk fruit extract. And that's a good alternative to sugar and sugar alcohols. For those of you who can use sweeteners in moderation, there's a lot of the artificial sweeteners. Again, do they have potential side effects? Yes, if you use them to excess, like everything. One of my favorites, personally, is sorbitol. Not sorbitol, that's a sugar alcohol. No, sucralose, Splenda. And I know a lot of people hate that stuff, have terrible fear of it, and if you don't like it and you have a personal reason not to, don't use it. I use it, and I use it in extreme moderation. I might use a packet of that once or twice a week, and a packet of anything once or twice a week, unless it's fentanyl, is probably not going to hurt you. So it all depends on quantity and frequency. But because these sugar alcohols are used to great excess in our processed junk foods, your overconsumption of those sugar alcohols is much greater than if you were just using them at home on your own. because they're in so many different products. It's like high fructose corn syrup, one of the most deadly things you can consume. And yet, it's in everything. Everything. And most of us don't read labels. But one key, you don't have to be a chemist to read a label and benefit. You have to be a chemist these days to understand it. But my general rule is, if you look at the ingredients in a food, usually a processed food, a junk food, if you can't pronounce half of them, don't eat it. It's that simple. So we need to think about what we consume. We need to think about how often we consume that, and we need to think about how much we consume. And in the case of sugar alcohols, most of us don't have a choice because it's in so many different foods. This is Dr. Whiting. Take care.